Hello, everyone. Again, this is Lorena Prochet. I am very happy that you decided to learn a little bit more about the VA and what we have to offer our veteran service members and eligible dependents. Today's webinar is entitled VA Fully Developed Claims in You. And so I want to talk about our training objectives. We hope at the end of our presentation that you'll be able to understand what about VA and how veterans can access our benefits, understand the fully developed claim process and how it benefits our veterans, know where to direct the veterans to find basic information on FDCs, and also the basic steps for submitting an electronic fully developed claim through the Ebenefits portal, and finally how you can support and guide veterans who may be using resources within your library. Now, these are the topics that we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about a little bit about the VA overview. We'll talk about the eligibility for VA benefits, the types of VA compensation claims, our transformation and how it affects our claims process, the fully developed claims we commonly refer to as FDC, Ebenefits, and also the importance of partnering with VSOs. Now, a little bit about the VA. I know you hear a lot of things about us, good and bad, but here at the VA, we are very honored to represent and serve the men and women of the armed forces. As you can see, our veteran service members and their families. And here at the VA, we offer a range of benefits and services. You mostly hear about our health care, but we also have disability compensation. We offer education benefits, home loans, bear resources, and so much more. So having you partner with us and having some of your patrons be veterans to visit your library and knowing a little bit about these services is really going to benefit your customers. And so who are eligible for VA benefits? I know most of you know about our veterans and service members, but when you think of service members, we also want you to think about National Guard and Reserve members as well. You remember in times past during 9/11, we called a lot of our National Guards and Reserve members to support that effort. So keep in mind they also are considered important customers of the VA. And then finally, we have our dependents, survivors of service members, as well as the veterans. Now, the types of VA compensation claims, you've probably heard about our disability compensation, which is one of our large benefits. And in order to receive these type of benefits, it's a service-connected disability that someone has arose during service or worsened or aggravated by service. And it also includes some secondary disabilities that are a result of that in-service disability or injury. Now, these can be both physical and psychologically as well. And there's a URL at the bottom listed on your screen if you would like to know more information about compensation, which I definitely encourage you to do so. Now, we also offer pension. Now, pension is for our wartime veterans who have limited or no income, who are age 65 or older, and they must be permanently and totally disabled. And so again, we have the URL address for you if you want to know more information about that. And finally, we do take care of our dependents, elderly parents or surviving spouses, and that's what this benefit's for. If a serviceman passes away in the military, we try to reach out to them very quickly to get them linked up with their dependency indemnity compensation benefits. And as you can see on the screen, we also have benefits offered to their parents as well as deceased service members or veterans. And the URL is up there too, but you want to know more information about that. Now, you probably heard that we are transforming. Yes, hooray for VA. We are really making some great changes here to really make things better for our veterans here. And so, as you can see on the screen, here are some of the things that we hope that this transformation will do. One of the big ones, I think, which we're going to learn later in our presentation, is empowering our customers through technology, redeploying our resources so we can meet a wider range of our veterans' needs. And we also want to improve our outreach to keep veterans informed. And I think partnering with you is a part of that initiative of outreach, that if we can get you to partner with us and see the need, then that's going to reach out to more of our veterans. And then we also want to build a culture that it's like a lifelong engagement with them, that to know that we're here for them. So if you'd like to know more about what the VA is doing, what that transformation is going to look like, at the bottom of the screen you see the URL address. And so now we're talking about the fully developed. And that is a part of that transformation. It's a big, major part that's going on, and it's about that empowerment as well. And basically, it's just veterans are able to submit any relevant documentation at the same time, which allows them to get their claim processed faster. We'll talk more about that. Now, when we talk about fully developed claims or the FDC, again, it allows our veterans and their families to submit all their evidence and the medical records at the same time when they submit their claim, and then they can certify that there's no further evidence to submit. It's almost simple like a college application. You get your transcripts, you get your letters of endorsements or recommendations, and you send it all together so that decision maker can review it and decide if they're going to admit you into the institution. Well, it's the same way with the VA. We want to allow our veterans to submit everything at one time, and then that way we can look at it, rate the claim, and it has some benefits too. One, it benefits the veterans. They get to control and expedite their claim a lot faster. It also decreases the amount of time that the VA has to go out and try to obtain that evidence to support the claim. And then I know many of you have heard about our backlog. It also allows our veterans to help us to reduce the claims backlog. So there's so much benefits to it. And one of the major benefits is that the FDC allows the veterans to receive a decision much faster, probably 2 times faster than our standard claims process, which is still good itself. It's just that we go out and help them get that evidence, whereas with the FDC, we are empowering them to get the evidence to help us make a quicker decision. And if you want to learn more, again, we have another URL address that will give you more detailed information about the FDC program. Now, we did have a webinar on Ebenefits, and Ebenefits is that system that allows us to empower our customers through technology, and we're very proud of it. And a little bit about Ebenefits, it was created jointly by VA and the Department of Defense. It is a secure portal that allows our veterans, service members, survivors, and their families to browse through VA and DOD benefits information. And one of the things that Ebenefits helps is with the FDC, because you can submit the claim online through Ebenefits. And one of the things is faster, veterans have control of it, and we'll have more information about that. But if you're interested in learning more about the Ebenefits portal, we have a webinar that we completed. The URL address is right there before you. You can jot that down and take some time to learn a little bit more about Ebenefits. Now, one of the key elements that we really try to stress is the importance of partnering with veteran service organizations. They are truly advocates for our veterans. They know a lot about the claims process. They know all about the various benefits that we have, and it's at no cost. And VA makes sure that they're accredited. We recognize them, we train them, we approve, they're approved by the secretary, and so they have the ability to submit a claim on behalf of the veterans, and they can really help them to minimize any type of anxiety and answer a lot of questions. And we really do encourage our veterans to find a VSO to assist them. And I think they are very instrumental when it comes to the fully developed claims, because they know what evidence is needed for that disability being claimed. And so Ebenefits has a search engine within there that you can search and find a representative, or they can call our 1-800 number for assistance. Now let's talk a little bit about the fully developed claim electronic application. Remember, it's a tool that's going to allow them to empower them to direct how they want that claim developed and what evidence is supportive of that claim. And so we're going to talk about the claim submission. We're going to provide an overview of how to apply online, and then we're going to show you the steps in applying online. Now, one of the things about the electronic claims process, it really does help our veterans. Again, even if they can find a VSO on there. So you can go inside there under Manage, and you can find a VSO if you're sitting there at the library and you're trying to help someone to submit a claim online. And one of the things about it is, again, it's faster processing, and the decisions are even faster because you're using it electronically. And what it is they're using an automated 526 Easy. It's pretty much like a hard copy application, but it's just going to navigate them through the interview process. And one of the great things about this is that you can start the claim online with the veteran at the library, and then he or she can go over their evidence and find out what they need additionally. And then if they need to come back to the library, you can go into their Ebenefits account and continue that claim, because they have 365 days to fully complete that claim. And that's one of the great things, how we're able to talk them through and find out what additional information they need before submission, because once you submit that claim, then the VA will make a decision based on what you submitted. And so you don't want to waste their time if they feel like they're being rushed to get their claim through, because you want to make sure the information that they're submitting is relevant to the disability that they're claiming. And then you also want to certify that there's no additional information that's going to be needed. So based on that certification, VA can go ahead and review and process that claim more quickly. So keep in mind, they have up to 365 days to submit that claim. Now here's just an overview about applying online. You see the bullets to the side. We're going to go through those. I'm not going to read them to you, but it's just a snapshot of where you get started. And if you look over there by the screen under Apply for Benefits, that is the link that you're going to hit when one wants to apply for compensation. And as you can see, it's entitled Disability Compensation. And here's the Ebenefits homepage. Again, I encourage you to look at that webinar to familiarize yourself with Ebenefits should you have an opportunity to help someone to submit a fully developed claim. But this is what the homepage looks like. And as you can see under the Apply tab, you can hit Disability Compensation, and that's the one you would do. If someone was applying for pension, you can do pension, and it would take you to the URL site that will help you to fill out that application. But our focus today is going to be on the disability compensation. So in order to get into Ebenefits, you have to register. You would go in and put your username, the created password that they did during the registration process. Then you would hit log in. Once you log in, it's going to take you to a personal dashboard. We are very happy about this dashboard because it helps the veteran to navigate. So you shouldn't have any problems navigating to figure out what they need. If you wanted to know if they had a representative, you can hit representative, and if they do, it will display that person's name. If they do not have a representative, we definitely encourage you to go under manage and help them find a representative should they have questions that you're not able to answer. If a veteran has disabilities and they're not sure what they are, but they know they've worsened, you can click disabilities, and it has a drop-down menu that will allow you to see the disabilities they have, and that will also help in the claims process, and you'll see more of that as well. Okay, so now let's get started about applying for benefits. Again, it's under Apply. You're going to click Disability Compensation. Once you do that, you're going to start the 526 Easy application. Again, it's electronic. And the first thing we want to do is we want to confirm the personal information. We want to make sure we have your name, gender, everything, your address, everything that's pertinent to you. So you're going to fill out the personal information first, and then you're going to go on to the next stage of that is to let you know what are the important dates. Remember, I mentioned 365. And looking at our example here, if you see the intent to file was received on 12/10/2015, that person has to submit that claim prior to 12/10/2016. So you have a nice long period of time to help gather that evidence, do your research, contact doctors, medical information, whatever needs to support that claim. They have 365 days, so keep that in mind. If someone says, I want to file a claim, but I'm not ready to, I don't have anything to start, I'm not sure what I want to file, always get it started in Ebenefits to protect that data claim. You can always go back again and complete it later, because not to sound redundant, you have 365 days to help them to complete that application. Now, once you do that, it's also going to give you some information about supporting information on hand. We try to give them some information as to how to prepare, because it's so important that you know these detailed information, because it does affect what type of claim you're having and if additional information is needed. So here's a little preview of getting started. You can sit there with them and kind of go over it to make sure they understand it. Now here is getting the help. Again, we always talk about that representative. We really do have that partnership with our representatives, the Veteran Service Organization, commonly referred to as VSOs. So here's another opportunity where we promote them and let them know what their role is and how they can really help you with your claim. And here we're talking about the fully developed claim process. Here's our transformation of really putting it before them, letting them know why FDC is so important. Our standard is pretty good too. It's just a little lengthy, and remember the two distinct differences is that under the standard claim, you're letting the VA go out to your private doctors, hospitals, all those different records. You're having the VA do it. With the fully developed claim, it's a lot faster for a veteran to go to their private physician and say, I need records from here X date to this date. Can you give them to me? And then they can send them to the VA, whereas with VA, we'll go out there and we'll wait a timeline, maybe 30 to 60 days, and then the doctor doesn't respond to us. But they more likely may respond a little bit faster to the veteran in getting that information. So we definitely encourage that, and that's the difference why it really works. And here's just another little sample of more information about the evidence and the criteria. Now, the key thing here is do not hit submit at the end of this application certifying that all the evidence is there unless you're sure, because if you submit any additional evidence, it's going to revert that claim back to standard. And remember, we are really promoting fully developed claims because it does help us to reduce our backlog. It does empower the veterans to have input as to what evidence they want the VA to consider. As you can hear, this is where you can confirm about your periods of service. If there's something wrong, believe me, the VA will fix that. So if a veteran sees something that's incorrect, calm them down and say it's okay. The VA has a way of fixing things, and they'll make sure your service dates are correct. You're going to hit save and continue. Same with if there's anything that's comeback related, we like to know that. And as you can see, it's just ask you a series of questions. You click, and then once you respond, you hit save and continue. And here's the separation, what place the separation. That's stuff building up so we'll know, because, for example, with certain types of claims, we want to know what air base you were on or where were you located. That helps us also in trying to look at the whole disability picture of what you're trying to claim. Prisoner awards, we have special indicators for those, how we try to work those expeditiously. And so you hit yes or no, save and continue. Same with if you receive any military pay, we like to know that, because in some instances we have to offset if we decide to grant you benefits. You can't get, for example, severance pay as well as disability pay. We have to recoup what we've given you, so it's important that we know that information. So yes or no, and then you hit save and continue. Now this is the key part right here, the disabilities. We definitely want you to when you sit down with them, you ask them, oh, my knee hurt, which particular knee. You want to be very clear on your disabilities. You want them to claim those disabilities up front, because what you do not want to do is have them select a few disabilities, they submit the claim, then they say, oh, by the way, I forgot my back. Because once you go back in there and you upload any additional evidence related to a back, then you pull that claim out of the FDC program, and then it becomes standard. So you really want to encourage them to really think about what disabilities you have and write them down as much as possible and go over to make sure they capture everything that they know is going on with them. And then once you know what they are, you can hit save and continue. And then this is going to help direct them as to what information they may need. In this case, like unemployability is so important, because some of our veterans may have a disability that's causing interference with their unemployability. So it used to be a time you submit your claim and then we'll rate it, and then you come back and say, I cannot work. So according to that, with that transformation, we like to do it all at one time. So if you have a disability, We got that. Is this disability causing any employment issues? If so, we can go ahead and look at that issue too and not have you keep going back and forth. We want to try to expedite it and get it all done as one time on like a one-time shop deal, and it really works. Now, this is so important that they let us know what VA Medical Center. Reason being is because by law, anything that's federal, VA has the duty to assist. We have to go get those records because sometimes it may be difficult for the veteran to get those federal records, but we have to. If you tell us that you have records at the medical center, we have to get those records, and plus they're in our jurisdiction, and it's a lot easier for us to get those records as opposed to having the veteran go to the VA, sign a privacy of release, and kind of wait until it's given to them. And it can take a while depending on their workload. But in this case, if you tell them, yes, do you have records at the VA, really think about it. And once they say yes, click that yes, and then the VA will go out. It's going to ask you another series of questions like, where's that facility? Stuff like that. So we need to know all of that. Now, there are some special circumstances. For example, aid in attendance. Those are usually ones who have someone, their disabilities require someone to come in and assist them. Same with housebound. You're not able to go out of your home because of your disability. And so if you have any of these type of special circumstances, again, it used to be a time you would come back into the VA and say, I need aid in attendance, or I need an automobile allowance, or anything like that. Now we make it so you don't have to keep going back and forth. If that disability that you may be claiming for the very first time meet the requirements of special circumstances, then we can go ahead, if you meet the eligibility requirements, we can go ahead and grant you that disability as well as provide you that special circumstance so you don't have to come back again and request that. Now, here's the option where if you want to documents upload, this is the key right here. All that supporting evidence that you feel that supports your claim, this is your opportunity to add them to your record. And so we do have requirements of the size, what type of format, so you want to make sure you're following all those requirements that may be listed. But you will upload those documents, and then you will hit continue. And then you should see this. If everything is fine, if all the documents, you filled out the interview correctly, you feel pretty good about it, then you can hit save and continue, especially if there's no warnings. Now, this is the part where you may want to ask the veteran, are you sure that we have everything to support your fully developed claim? Because remember now, once you submit it, and you're certifying to the VA that this is what I want, everything is there, you can rate me based on all this evidence that I've submitted. And so I really encourage you to make sure they understand that, because there's no going back and forth with fully developed. The whole purpose of it is to give us an opportunity to rate that claim as is, basically, based on what you're telling us that it's right. We can go ahead and move forward. If everything's okay, you select which process you want. Do you want to go fully developed, which we hope you will help them do, because it helps us. It's like a partnership, I think, a win-win for veterans that empowers them and it keeps our backlog down. Or they can say they want to go to standard and you want VA to do everything for you. But we encourage the fully developed, so select the fully developed. Okay, so once you do that, you're going to authorize the VA to get anything that needs to be done. I will say now, fully developed, if there's something, again, that the VA is required by law to go out and get, we're going to get that. That has no effect on the fully developed process because we have to do that. So keep that in mind as well. If everything is fine, you're going to hit continue. And then this is that nice button that's really bold for you. You check this box. You certify that acceptance of signatures, that once everything is submitted, VA is good to go to actually look at your case, rate it based on the evidence that you submitted. If the veteran is in agreement, you have them check that box and hit submit. And that's it. So again, you can help them at the library with a fully developed claim. You can emphasize to them they have up to 365. You can tell them that you want to make sure you submit all the evidence. You want to make sure you got all your disabilities before they submit. Now, one of the things that the takeaway that we really do hope that you get is that fully developed claim is the best and quicker way to expedite. It's a win-win not only for the veteran but for the agency as a whole, because it allows us to process those much quicker. Then also, too, about fully developed is that you can send it electronically using Ebenefits. So they don't have to leave their home other than if they need to go get the medical evidence. Once they get the medical evidence, they can upload that wherever they are, at home, at your library. Again, they can process it a lot faster. And the third important factor is if you're unable to answer any of the questions, definitely encourage them to seek a veteran service organization that will be able to represent them in the claims process and also help them to gather the records or any type of evidence, to even prepare them with reasonable expectations of how long it's going to take, what's needed. And so definitely encourage that partnership. Okay, so here are some helpful VA videos that we definitely encourage you to go out and listen to and learn about, particularly the FDC. Again, that's our focus. There is an overview of the 527 Easy application. I think we should do that because we do have a population of veterans that need assistance when they don't have any income and they're permanently in total. The same with the application for DIC. You know, it's tragedy when you lose a loved one in the military, that being maybe your primary source of income. You just don't know what to do. It's so refreshing to know that there are others out there that know a little bit about what the VA offers and can provide you some assistance to help you get the information you need, because time during grief is always of essence. And so I really encourage you to kind of look at these videos and learn more about what we have to offer. And here are some additional resources. You know, caregiver support line, I really want to emphasize that one. I had an opportunity to do outreach and saw a gentleman with his caregiver, and we were passing out some information. And, you know, they're remarkable people. They do a lot for their loved ones. And so anything that we can do to help them when they're feeling frustrated, or the easy way to learn how to do some things, I think it's important. And so you being at the library, those are probably coming through your doors and you have no idea that they're a caregiver until they have a casual conversation as such, like, I just had to step away a little bit, you know, and they tell you the story how their loved one got hurt in the military and they have that responsibility of caring for them. So here's another, in the crisis line, you hear so much about our veterans committing suicide and the stress of transitioning and things. So definitely when you have some free time, become familiar with some of these additional resources, because you being a partner with us, you knowing a little bit about what we have to offer is a part of that outreach, that community outreach that we're trying to do to create that lifelong engagement with our veterans. Now, we want to talk about just a little bit how you can use the VA information. One, help promote the FDC program. It is a win-win situation for our veterans, our service members, and their families. And so they are the ones that will come to your library. So definitely partner with us in promoting that program. And then also the content that's online with the resources that we have. You know, we go in paperless, which is Ebenefits. We have websites that you can go on and learn about what we're doing. Again, we have the Ebenefits. We have the YouTube channel. There's some download electronic versions of information that's out there. And then also you can be a partner with us in really spreading the word that seek out a veteran service organization. They're there. They're accredited. VA approves them. We provide oversight. We partner with them extensively, because when we don't like to hear veterans say that I don't understand the VA process, why is it taking so long? I don't know, it's like going through a maze. It doesn't have to be that for them if they reach out to veteran service organizations. So by you partnering with us and taking advantage of listening to this webinar and wanting to be that additional outreach for our veterans, we really appreciate that, because they need all of us to help them to make that transition. So at this time, we want to show you a video, And then once we conclude with the video, we'll entertain any questions you may have. And so Allison's setting the video up right now.
Providing veterans and their families with the best service and support is a key priority for the Department of Veterans Affairs, VA. That's why VA is promoting its Fully Developed Claims program and electronic submission of disability compensation claims, or e-claims, using the Ebenefits web portal. Through the FDC program, applicants simply submit all relevant records in their possession at the time they make their claim and certify that they have no further evidence to submit. This allows VA to review and provide decisions on claims more quickly. When an electronic FDC for disability compensation is filed on Ebenefits, everybody wins. Why should you file an electronic fully developed claim?
If you would like your claim processed the fastest way possible, submit it online as a fully developed claim.
Doing an electronic fully developed claim, getting all the evidence up front and submitting it is a lot faster and a lot more effective in getting a claim granted. I had filed the paper claim when I got out of the Marine Corps, and that was a lot more tedious process. I felt comfortable with the fact that the VA was receiving an electronic copy of all the documents they needed at that time instantaneously.
With the fully developed claim, both the VA and you know, okay, all the stuff is there, process the claim quickly. And it's like a mutual agreement without even having to be face-to-face.
It was convenient. It was right there, and I knew it got to the VA as soon as we were finished. And it didn't have to change hands and get lost in the paper shuffle.
Are there other advantages of filing a fully developed claim?
The claim date is the date you file the claim, so if it's the 29th of the month, and you've got 2 more days left in the month, that's a month of benefits if you file it this month. If you wait till the next month, you lose a month's benefit. When we file an informal claim fully developed in Ebenefits for the vet or assistant veteran with it, it protects an effective date and allows them to go out and get the information or the evidence that they need for the claim. And then when the VA does finally rate the claim, it goes back to the date that we first started the electronic claim.
How do I know the status of my claim?
One of the biggest questions most veterans have is, what's going on with my claim? Where's it at? What's happening?
I like that I can go on Ebenefits and check my own claim status.
They can go on Ebenefits at their leisure, anytime they want, 2 o'clock in the morning, and find out. They can look at it. It's under development. It's in the decision phase. It's all right there. Answers their questions easy. With Ebenefits, it's there. You know it. You're assured that it's online. You can see it. You can check your online application. So that's a huge benefit.
Veterans can easily file an electronic fully developed claim for disability compensation by following the simple step-by-step process on Ebenefits. Step 1, log in to Ebenefits. Step 2, identify all relevant federal and medical records. Step 3, gather and upload your documents. Step 4, review your complete claim and certify you have no more evidence to submit. Following this simple online process will help you receive the fastest VA claim decision possible. VA also recommends appointing and working with a Veterans Service Officer to assist with your claim.
The success rate we've seen going through Ebenefits has been staggering, actually. As soon as you have all your information, just put it in online, you'll get a response real quick. Most claims, as long as they are fully developed and stay in the fully developed program, are done within 4 months.
It went quicker than I anticipated. I think it was about 2 to 3 months at the time, and I had anticipated over a year wait on a claim, so that was a huge surprise.
You get your benefits a lot faster.
I was quite impressed. Don't be afraid of the technology, because the technology is there to help you.
Don't let that opportunity go by. Take advantage of it.
Just do it.
For more information, visit www.benefits.va.gov/FDC, call 1-800-827-1000, or check out VBA's YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/VA Vet Benefits for more videos. videos and resources on the FDC program, e-claims, and e-benefits. Thank you for watching.
So as you can see from the video, Ebenefits FDC is a great partnership because, again, it's a part of our transformation as in empowering customers through technology. And these were some real veterans and some VSOs talking about fully developed claims process and getting a quicker decision, and then also hearing from veterans as to how beneficial it was to utilize e-benefits to submit their claim, and how it is a win-win for both the VA as well as our veterans. And so, again, we really want to encourage you to promote the fully developed claims process. Again, you can sit at an eBenefits, open up an eBenefits account with them. Encourage you to look at the webinar on eBenefits, and it will navigate and show you how that's done. We also remind you that, again, they have up to 365 days to submit that claim. And like one person said, she was expecting it to take up to a year, but she got a decision within 4 months. And so it's not going to happen for everyone because some disabilities require more development. But one of the things I like, because I am a disabled veteran myself, I have submitted fully developed claims, and I really like it. I really like the fact that I can be empowered to get the evidence for my claim and then submit it. And one of the things also I wanted to add to that is that I had a VSO who also was helping me with a claim, and we did submit it. And somehow, like someone said, by doing it electronically, you don't have to worry about something getting lost in the mail. And somehow my claim did get lost in the mail. But what was the great thing about it was that I can go into eBenefits, like they said in the video, and check the claim status. And so when I checked the claim status, I did not see it there, and I waited a little bit, and it still did not appear. So I went back to my VSO and said, I don't think the VA received that information. Luckily for me, they keep a copy. That's a great thing about working with VSOs as well. They normally copy everything just in case something happens. But again, having your patrons sit at the computer, and you sort of like guide them through that process or tell them how to go look at the video. Now that video we just showed, that is a good tool for you to have a knowledge of, because even if you mention it and you don't know a lot of it, you can ask them. There's a video that the VA produced on the fully developed claim. We really encourage you to sit and listen to it and stuff. And if you have questions, we also recommend that you contact the Veteran Service Organization, and then they can help them with that claim process. So at this time, are there any questions on the fully developed claim?
There are no questions right now, but we can give everyone a second to type in some last-minute questions they may have.
Okay. So while you're typing in the questions, again, it is a really nice transformation that the VA is really trying to reach out to our veterans, because there is just a real need for that. And I can't say enough how I wish that back then when I got out, the library was trying to learn more about what the VA has to offer and how they can help us. Because what we're finding out is that a lot of our veterans do not have computers. And some of them are going to the library, and they are going, they're accessing eBenefits, and that's why we encourage them not to have their username and password together when they're visiting the library. And so that is a way to them to gain access to the benefits and services that VA has to offer by visiting your library. So I really cannot say enough about the partnership and your expressed interest in learning about how you can help veterans with this fully developed claim, or exposing them to the benefits of eBenefits. We definitely appreciate it here. So do we have any questions? Okay, so
we don't have any questions. Yeah. So we can conclude today's webinar if there aren't any questions. I would like to thank everyone for joining us, and give a special thank you to Zarina and the Department of Veterans Affairs. Enjoy the rest of your day.